Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a little update on Twix, which of course is my newest baby crested gecko that I got. So anyway, we're going to be feeding him today, but I just wanted to update you guys because it obviously has been over a week since I've had him. He has gained about, I think, 1.5 grams since I first weighed him, which is obviously great. So I'm going to see if I can spot him hiding in here. Hold on one second. I found him. He is under the cork, so I'm going to get him out real quick, but just so you can see. He has been exploring his tank. So I'm going to go ahead and lift this up here. There he is, the little cutie boy. Okay, so here's the little guy. Got him out. And normally, of course, I do feed them in the evening, but I was up pretty late last night and I was pretty tired, so I was like, I'll just wake up in the morning and feed him. And of course he'd be more laid back and not as rowdy because he's more tired. Of course this does mean that he's going to eat slower, but I'm okay with that. So you can't really see his colors. Obviously he is fired down, but you can't really see them very much. I'll kind of darken the screen a little bit. And you can see where like the orange is up top here and this is all the cream and orange that's mixed down here. But yeah, you guys know what he looks like from when I unboxed him, if you watched that anyway. Because I think he was a little bit more fired up, I believe, than he is right now. And of course I just woke him up, so obviously he's not going to be fired up. But anyway, I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about him. So, normally, aside from under that cork, because that's the first time he's been under there, he loves to sleep, like right here. He'll curl up in those leaves. And his tank right now, because it was over there, not a safe place, because Blossom still managed to like climb on top of it. And obviously, this is not going to be collapsing. Like, it's a small lid, so it's pretty sturdy when it's clipped, but I did not want to risk Blossom, for some reason, jumping off of this and it flying onto the floor. So his tank now is way up there at the very top between those two storage totes. No risk of it getting knocked down or anything. Also, because where heat rises, I think it's a lot warmer up there for him as well, compared to being over there by the window. So in the long run, it was a really good idea just sticking him up there to begin with. And he has been up there since the second day I've had him, because that evening after I unboxed him, I noticed Blossom had climbed on top of there and was sitting there while I was laying in bed. So, like, that day, or that evening, I moved him up there, so he's been up there the whole time. So, a lot safer place. And he is a very relaxed baby. Occasionally he, of course, will jump when it's, like, nighttime, and he's more, like, hyper and active, whoop, kind of like that. But otherwise, like, whoever, I mean, not whoever, obviously I know the guy who owned him. Obviously I don't know him personally, but the person that owned this baby did a very good job handling him frequently enough that he's pretty calm and tame, because a lot of babies most of the time are pretty jumpy. So anyway, I'm going to feed him a little bit, but I wanted to talk a little bit about him and stuff. So I have his food here. I'm going to give this a little mix real quick. Okay, so we'll see if he will eat some food. Oh, he's already licking his chomps, so that's good. And this is normally how I feed babies, because most of the time they don't eat out of a dish. Or if they do, they just end up climbing in the dish and walking all over in the food. Walking all over in their tank and making a nice little mess. So most of the time with babies, I always hand feed them because it's just a lot easier to clean up. You also can monitor how much of the food they're eating. And he right now is getting 1/8 of a teaspoon. And 1/8 of a teaspoon is pretty small, but that is the amount that a baby at 6 months should be being fed. He normally doesn't eat all of it. Just to give you an idea, this is about how much food. And 1/8 of a teaspoon sounds pretty small, but you have to remember, when you mix water in with the Pangea, it expands to twice its size most of the time. So what is 1/8 may come out to be more like 1/4 of a teaspoon when it's wet. So just got to keep that in mind when you are feeding them, that obviously when it's a powdered food, sorry, kind of got off focus there. When it's a powdered food that you have to add water to, it will obviously be expanding, especially when you have to add the same amount of water as food. So 1 part water to 1 part food. Actually, maybe it's 2 parts water, sorry. 2 parts water to 1 part food. So, and of course, I'm pretty sure I did a video in the past, at least for the adults, kind of showing how much water I add. And obviously, when I have a better setup camera-wise, I will be able to, like, remake that video a little bit better. Whoop, okay, that was way too much. Sorry there, buddy. I didn't realize that much was dripping off the straw. Hey, don't try jumping anywhere. You need to stay over here. He is just so cute when he eats his food. He is kind of starting to darken, or at least from my perspective, he is starting to darken up a little bit. So maybe you guys might get to enjoy seeing him fired up a little bit. And of course, this is a more tedious way to feed your geckos. I obviously hand feed all of mine still. Now, most of the time with the older babies, they will lick the food off the straw, as will the adults most of the time. But of course, with little babies like this, you normally always have to put a little bit on their snout or on their lips, just so that they are encouraged to eat it. And of course, like what he's doing right now, he'll just eat it right off his face. If you have a baby that will eat out of a dish without climbing in the food and smearing it all over the place, then that's great. But when I had my babies, there was like no such luck for me. Like they were always climbing the food, or they wouldn't eat the food at all, and it would just get all crusty. And it's like, well, I want them to gain weight and be healthy. And at this age, that's extremely important because they need to be putting on weight. Obviously not a whole bunch at one time, but they do need to have a healthy weight. And for him, he is like 2 months smaller than he should be when it comes to weight-wise, because normally 4-month geckos are normally the weight he was last time. Now, like I said, he has gained 1.5 grams since I last weighed him. So, or since I unboxed him. Since I unboxed him and weighed him, he has gained 1.5 grams. But still, he still has a little bit more to gain before he is to that proper weight. So, but at least it's a positive gain, and you can see that he obviously still has a little belly on him, so. But yeah, obviously I don't want to bore you guys too much because feeding is very tedious and it takes a while, so I don't want to like bore you guys with the entire thing. I did just want to show you him and get to talk a little bit about him and get to show the tank to you. And so, anyway though guys, I hope you enjoyed this little video. I hope you found it informative or at least enjoyable to watch. And of course, just for anyone wondering, this is the size of the tote that he is currently in. And I used a solder iron, which is pretty much hot, heated metal, to melt holes in the plastic. It's a lot easier than using a drill bit and having to sand down the plastic and make it smooth afterwards. At least with the solder iron, it just melts the plastic, so it's not going to be sharp most of the time. Sometimes there will be sharp pieces, but if you're slow and do it smoothly instead of just jabbing it in, it will make a smooth hole and it won't be sharp. So anyway guys, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you'd like to support the channel. It always encourages me to make more videos. I hope you enjoyed getting to see little baby Twix here. Thanks again for watching and have a good rest of your day.